Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Nothing But Net, where we talk all things and everything basketball. I'm Rhythm,
I'm Cole.
I'm Kaya.
And I'm Daniel.
and today we're just going to be talking about what's happened in the past 3 months of the National Basketball Association season. So let's just start off with the thing that's mainly going on right now, and that's the NBA's in-season tournament. We just found out yesterday that the finals is going to be Pacers versus Lakers, and that finals will be played tomorrow. When you are seeing this video, it might have already been played, but when we're filming this, it's going to be played tomorrow. So let's just kick things right off the bat and start with our predictions for the championship game. Cole, you want to start?
Pacers winning. That's it.
You got any reasons for that?
They're just the better team. Like, AD has been so inconsistent this season. You can't trust him, and then it's just LeBron. If they stop LeBron, they stop the Lakers.
Okay, but did you see yesterday's game against New Orleans? The score was like 133 to 89.
50 points.
Yeah, but the Pacers have been scoring like 130 points, like pretty consistently. So
Yeah, but
I
their
trust
defense is like 27th in the league.
I trust them.
They have the number one offense, but the 27th defense.
I trust them
I mean,
more than I trust the Lakers.
I have the Lakers winning because I feel like Indiana is I'm proud of everything that Indiana has done throughout the championship run, especially being from Sacramento and having Tyrese Halliburton absolute cooking. But I trust LeBron, AD, D'Angelo Russell, all those guys, Austin Reeves together more than I trust Indiana's Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, Miles Turner. I mean, they have a good team, but it's just the defense. Like, if we look at the Lakers, most of their star players, we look at LeBron, AD, they're all two-way players, right? But if we look at Indiana, their only real main defenders, we got Aaron Nesmith and Miles Turner. So I feel like the quote, offense wins games, defense wins championships. I feel like the Lakers' defense is going to win them.
I hope that the Lakers win this game and LeBron as well because he's on my fantasy team.
And also, if we look at the Pacers, they knocked off two heavyweights to get to the championship game. They probably had the highest competition. They had to face the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee
Which they
Bucks,
both beat by
contenders in the Eastern Conference. So I know this might be a little controversial to say, but watching that Phoenix game, that definitely should have been a timeout. I mean, that should not have been a timeout for the Suns, and the Suns should have scored there and won. So I think the refs might have a little bit to do with the fact they want the Lakers and LeBron James to win the inaugural in-season championship, and I think that would be like a cool moment where they can name the award after him, the MVP award after him when he retires. So I feel like the NBA is on the Lakers side to win, and
They're always on the Lakers side.
you can never doubt Indiana, but I would not be
I
surprised.
hope the Lakers win.
They should win. I don't think that the Lakers are not winning.
As a Kings fan, I want the Indiana Pacers to win. As a basketball fan, I want LeBron James to win. It's just like that. As a Kings fan, I don't like the Lakers, and I like Tyrese Halliburton. And as an NBA fan, I want LeBron to prove that he's the greatest of all time. It's plain and simple. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I said I'd go with the Lakers because of how they absolutely blew New Orleans out, which was first in I think it was B-Set West. Great team with Zion back. I don't know what else to say. They beat the Suns.
Yeah.
It was a really tight game. Not much to say about that one.
All right. So if you're watching this, you can book us when the championship game is over. Everybody except for Cole has the Lakers winning. And if the Lakers win, Cole will rub it in our faces. I want my boy, Tyrese. He used to live in Sacramento. I want him to win.
He's going to.
How about we talk about who do you guys think is going to win the in-season tournament MVP? So it's basically the finals MVP. And I have my pick for this, but I'll let you guys go first. And I think there's a heavyweight favorite for this one.
I mean,
For me, it has to be Tyrese.
Tyrese or LeBron?
It's a given.
I feel like it has to be Tyrese.
It's LeBron. He's one of the best players in the world.
Yeah, it would spice things up. I agree with that. It would spice things up. The up-and-coming guy from Indiana beats the greatest of all time in the championship. That's a narrative. That's a narrative. But I also think that the NBA is going to give it to Bron if the Lakers win, because imagine them naming the award after him after he retires in 20 years because he was the inaugural one. The final MVP is Bill Russell because he won a bunch, right? I feel like if LeBron wins this, he's the first one. He solidifies it.
So we think that. So we think that it's called Tyrese Halliburton's going to win MVP. I also feel like we shouldn't forget Giannis when he scored 37 points against the Patriots.
Yeah, but
the Bucks lost. Oh my guy. Also, I want to put something out there real quick. I think that there's a possibility that if Drew Holiday was still on the Milwaukee Bucks, it would be in the finals right now.
I disagree with that. You know why? Because if we're talking like Drew Holiday would have clamped up Tyrese Halliburton and the Bucks would win it, that's just not true. Because the Bucks faced the Celtics and Drew Holiday got killed.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, like, some defense is better than no defense, because Dame is not, like, while you will have less offensive production from Drew Holiday, he's not an offensive guy. But at the same time, you'll have the other team scoring less points, because while I think Drew Holiday's kind of underrated, like, defensively, in Milwaukee, there's a chance they could have won the game. I think the Milwaukee Bucks should have gotten Dame. That's what I'm saying.
That just took a whole turn of events. The Milwaukee Bucks shouldn't have gotten Dame.
I don't.
They lost to the 8th seed, and they shouldn't have made a change.
Well, yeah, I understand why they made the change, but I don't
know about Milwaukee Bucks getting Dame, but I do know that Dame needed the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah,
that's deep. That's deep. I feel like also defense wasn't the thing that the Bucks needed to beat the Pacers. Damian Lillard dropped 4 points. It was scoring. They needed to score the basketball.
Dame has been very consistent.
What matters is the score. Like, no matter how much defense you have, if you can't get a bucket, really, there's no point.
Exactly. It is the beginning of this number. Giannis is 29 and Dame is 33. They have at least 3 more years. They're good. They're fine. It's not time.
I'm talking about this season, though, because I feel like it just hasn't worked. But I haven't been able to watch a lot of, like, Milwaukee Bucks games, but just by looking at the stat sheet, you can see, like, Dame is not.
But obviously, like,
playing. I mean, he has too many off nights.
I have been able to watch a lot of Milwaukee Bucks games, and I'm going to say this about Dame's inconsistency. He just doesn't know when to pass versus score. Because in Portland, he was the number 1 guy, and he was the guy who would score buckets. But in Milwaukee, he has a 2-time MVP on his team. So, like, when he brings the ball down the floor, he has to decide to either pass to Giannis to score the basketball.
All these years, Dame has been, like, the number 1 option. Whatever happens, he just needs to score, get his points, put his team back on the board, and that's it in Portland. For all these years, and now he's coming to Milwaukee, where he has a 2-time MVP, like you said, Giannis, a player that's greater than him, that people are looking up to him instead of Dame, as they used to. And now he, like, his first thought has to be, like, his first instinct has to be pass the ball. That's like you always have to adapt, because if you have, like, a bear and you throw it into, like, like Antarctic, it's obviously gonna turn white and grow thicker. So you have to wait for Dame to get white and get thicker.
Oh yeah, great analogy.
So, Damian Lillard, when we were calling Trailblazers, he was used to being the one player that would just score. Like, he was, like, in my opinion, just a solo player. But now that he's on the Milwaukee Bucks, he has to change his, like, whole play style, which I think we should give him a call, because he actually used to having a 2-time MVP on his team.
Exactly.
It's not like his entire time at Portland, it's just been Dame and a bunch of bums. Like, he's had.
It was.
I mean, it was.
CJ McCollum.
Yeah, he's not. CJ McCollum is not a bum. He's playing pretty good.
Okay, CJ McCollum is not a bum. Okay, we're not saying that Damian Lillard played with a bunch of bums. We're just saying that Damian Lillard has never played with a player as good as Giannis.
or even equal as him.
You could argue that LaMarcus Aldridge was when he was in like a rookie season, right? But when he was in his prime, in his scoring prime, he's never played with the Giannis. And that's just a fact, right? You can't tell me that CJ McCollum was the number one scoring option on that Western Conference Finals team, because he wasn't. He was a catch and shoot guy. And yes, he could score some of his buckets sometimes, but it's not like, it's kind of like Klay Thompson on like the Stephen Clay. Like, it's CJ McCollum he's not a number one option. And so CJ had to learn to play with Dame. Dame never had to learn to play with anybody until now. Every good person, Jeremy Grant, all the rookies, Anthony Simon, Shaedon Sharpe, CJ, Josh Hart, all of them had to learn to play with Dame because he was the guy. But in Milwaukee, he's not. And that's what he's struggling. He's not. I think he's accepted it because at this point of his career, he's gotten all the accolades. He's top 75. He just wants to win. But at this point in his career, he needs to
being the youngest child to being the middle child. And now it's like, what can he do?
Okay, what are these analogies, man? Like,
they're great.
You say?
All right.
Okay, moving on.
A great transition. Damian Lillard went from losing in Portland to winning in Milwaukee. But
Last time.
the Detroit Pistons went from losing to last year to losing this year. And they currently have not won a game since October. So let's talk about that.
It's not good. It's not looking good. I think
Can I just say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that the Devin Booker, Chris Paul Suns team, I feel like Chris Paul was the head coach of those teams. Because Monty Williams, I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but he is being exposed as a fraud right now. He got paid the highest coaching contract in NBA history to bench Jaden Ivey and start Killian Hayes.
He needs to be
like Asar Thompson was having one of the best rookie seasons of all time, and he benches Asar Thompson.
They need to have fired him 10 games ago.
They can't. You can't fire the most highest paid head coach in NBA history.
What are they gonna do? Because they're not gonna win a game for a very long time.
I think that Troy Weaver has to say something. Troy Weaver can't just have Monty Williams go boss him around. He got to say, hey, I drafted Jaden Ivey with the number 5 overall pick. I drafted him Asar Thompson with the number 5 overall pick, and you are going to start them. Our starting lineup is not going to have Killian Hayes. It's going to be Kate Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Asar Thompson, Isaiah Stewart, and Jalen Durant. So what if it doesn't have shooting? We're going to drive to the basket, post everyone up, and dominate them every game. Plain and simple.
I honestly, like, with the current skid that the Pistons are on right now, I don't think they're going to win a game for the rest of the year.
Well,
not season year. I mean, like, the rest of 2023.
Okay,
that's not even a hot take. They're not.
I don't know. I don't even know when they could win their next game. Like, it's possible they could just go winless for the rest of the year. I don't know.
Oh, but also getting Bojan Bogdanovic back from his injury, that's huge. That he might win them a game. And saying that he's going to win them a game.
The funny thing is that I don't even think they're gonna get the number 1 overall pick because their lottery luck is just horrible.
Their lottery luck is so bad. Imagine if they don't win a game the rest of the season. I mean, of course they're going to, right? Imagine if they don't and they get number 2. And the thing is, the 3 worst teams have the same chance. So imagine if they're the worst and the next worst has like 40 wins or like 39 wins. That would be the funniest thing ever. Mark Tatum has the opportunity to do the funny thing ever.
Yeah, but they don't control the lottery.
I know, but what if they did?
This is not the NHL, okay? This is not the NHL.
Hey, just because you're salty that the Sharks didn't get Bedard.
I am salty. No, I'm not. It's not also that. It's also that the Blue Jackets got Bedard. The Ducks should have gone Bedard.
This is a basketball.
I know. The lottery sucks. That's all I'm going to say. Like, in all sports, I understand why it's there, but it's not very good.
Okay, anyway, switching topics. I feel like the Pistons are. I feel so bad for Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham, number 1 overall pick.
He's not even having a bad year.
He's not. He's having a
This is essentially his sophomore year because last year he was fucked.
Not even lost. I'm proud he's on my team this year. I really am. He was doing both.
You traded him.
It was fun. It was good while it lost.
You traded him.
But the problem is, he literally can't do anything in Detroit. What can he prove in Detroit? How can he give himself a legacy in Detroit?
He might want out. If they don't win, whether it's this season or like next season, if they don't like have like a 500 record at least, he might want out.
He's on his rookie contract. He's not gonna ask out on his.
I don't know. Like I feel like that if I was someone on the Detroit Pistons, I would give it like Monty Williams' seat has to be hot. I don't care whether he's the highest paid in NBA history. Like you can't. Like he has to be fired. If something doesn't change in 2 months, he has to be fired. Like
it's just not how it works. I mean, he should be, but it's just not how.
I know they owe him a lot of money.
It's the process. The process is just disgusting. They would have to pay them. They would have to pay $80 million in like a one day.
If they want results, they're gonna have to do that, or else people are gonna want to play in Detroit. Where
people are always gonna want to play in Detroit. It's a big market.
It is a big market, but like it's not working. I feel like ownership has to do something. The GM, like somebody has to do something because.
But also to play devil's advocate, the Pistons aren't trying to win. It's not like they're.
Yeah, but they're not also trying to lose.
Like, they don't want to lose either. Obviously.
That is.
Need to get back. Get back in the game. And then they can think about winning later. But for now, no games won this entire season. That has to mean something.
They've won a game.
They've won games.
They've won games. It's just that this current skid is horrible. Well, 7 games from the second worst, which was in one season by the 76ers. And the max is
10 and 72, right?
Yeah. No, it's the 76ers. Like it's 26 games in 2014. That was the longest losing streak in NBA.
That's not the worst record in.
No, I'm saying losing streak.
In NBA.
No, losing streak.
Oh, losing streak.
The 76ers have the 2 worst losing streaks.
26 games. Is it just me? That doesn't seem unreachable from the Pistons. I feel like they can.
No, and then it's 28 games too. So they can lose 9 more games. They lose 9 more games, then they have the record. And looking at their schedule, it's not looking good.
There's not a team, unless they face the Wizards in those games.
The Wizards blew them out the last time, so it's like they're like.
Yeah, there's not a.
Who could they be?
There's not a team that's worse than them. There's not a team that you go into a matchup and you expect to lose. The Detroit Pistons. It's just not how it works. But,
maybe the Bulls. But.
Switching topics, Cole, you talked about hot seat, and there's another 2 people who are on the hot seat. And I know Kaya doesn't like to hear me say this, but JB Bickerstaff and Donovan Mitchell are both on the hot seat for the Cleveland Cavaliers because Donovan Mitchell was out maybe a week or 2 weeks, and the Cavs, they were better without him. And it just goes to show, like, they could get crazy value out of him if they decide to move on. So I want to hear Kaya's thoughts on this because he is a Cavs fan, and I want to hear what he thinks about this because it's a pretty tough situation.
Like, most of the Cavs roster is like a scoring team. I feel like the Cavs can score, but I feel like they're missing a lot of different aspects in their game. And I also feel like Donovan Mitchell is a pure scorer. Like, I feel like he can get points on the board. He can get the team up there. He can do what he needs to do. But, like, the fact that when he wasn't there, like, we were generally, like, doing a little bit better, that's also very, like, extremely concerning, right? Because we all know that Donovan Mitchell, like, it looks like he's doing a lot for the team, but clearly after that, like, people are saying now he doesn't.
And I'm not even sure Donovan Mitchell even likes it.
I don't think he minds it.
If I'm being honest.
I feel like he doesn't hate it, but he doesn't love it there either. He'd much rather want to be in a city where, like, he feels like he's loved and he loves the city.
I think he wants to be in New York. but
he should.
I don't know if
be
they
in
have
New
the
York.
assets to get it.
He should be in New York, but
He should be. Cleveland swept in with that.
I feel like for Donovan Mitchell, it's not so much about is he on the hot seat or the Cavs going to get rid of him. It's more, is he, like, I feel like that losing like they did in the playoffs last year, like where they said like the lights were too bright for them or whatever, like that wasn't good. I feel like that.
But Mobley has leaped this year.
Yeah, Mobley's doing good. Everybody is doing good. I just feel like they haven't been able to fit it together. I don't know if that's coaching. I don't know if that's just Donovan Mitchell not playing well with other players right now. Because, like, they have Donovan Mitchell, and then they also have, like, Darius Garland, who's another good scorer.
I feel like Garland's one of the best playmakers in the league. I was going to say that
a lot of scoring.
There's a lot of scoring. I feel like he thrived off of...
If he became a pure playmaker, if you worry about that more, I feel like his team could score a lot more.
I feel like when you're saying that, Kaya, when you say if he honed in on becoming a playmaker, that's exactly what happened when he had the ball when Donovan Mitchell was out. He would beat his teammates and they would get buckets. And I feel like it's not like the Cavs would be a bad team without Donovan. We saw what happened in 2022 when they didn't have him and they still made the play. And even with all the injuries. And you can get a good return. It's Donovan Mitchell. It's not like we're talking about some scrub here. It's an all-star in his prime. You could get a really good return for that and still be a good basket.
Through watching Cavs games and watching Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, you can obviously see that Darius wants to score and Donovan wants to score. And that's also like...
I feel like Donovan wants to score, and that's the problem. It's just he wants the ball in his hands at all times. He wants to be the one to take the shot. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if that's good or bad because he can make those shots. Like, he can make those shots.
But if they had more time to grow as a team and develop as, like, maybe a dynamic duo, or as they say, dynamic duo, you know, they could be like one of the best duos in the NBA history. They both can score the ball. So, you know, just saying, like,
I feel like that if the Cavaliers are going to, like, want to possibly ship out Donovan Mitchell, hypothetically, I don't think he's going to go to New York.
Where do you think he would go?
I know he would probably want to go to New York, but I don't think the Cavs are going to be able to get him because, like, on the Knicks roster,
you know what I kind of
who would the Cavaliers want from the Knicks roster?
RJ.
Yeah, you could take RJ Barrett, but you have Karis LeVert.
RJ's value
has gone up.
No, Karis LeVert's coming off the bench anyway.
That is true, but he's still scoring 20 a night.
But you know what I just thought of? Brooklyn is in New York. You trade Donovan Mitchell to the Nets to get Cam Thomas. He's a scorer. And you have a Donovan Mitchell, Mikal Bridges duo in Brooklyn.
Yeah, but he wants to go to the Knicks.
He wants to go to New York. It's different. Brooklyn is in New York. It's one of the 5 boroughs.
Yeah, but like I think he would rather play for the Knicks than
can't get to the Knicks. He has to settle for something else, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Nets aren't a bad option. And plus, he's gonna leave. I mean, I feel like it's all but guaranteed that Donovan Mitchell is gonna leave after his contract's done. So you better trade high. The Cavs better take advantage and trade high. But yeah, I mean, you could just. I feel like the contracts would match up if they get Ben Simmons back in the deal. So the Cavs get Cam Thomas, Ben Simmons, and like a pick for Donovan Mitchell.
I mean,
the contracts would match up, and it would be pretty good. But going on the path, young teams that are on the way up, let's talk about the Orlando Magic and how they're the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. Jalen Suggs looks like an all-defense candidate. Paolo Banchero looks like LeBron James in his prime. Franz Wagner, and he can score the ball. Like, they're a complete team. Jamal Mosley's a great coach. They're a great team.
You really honed down on the main points there. I feel like they have a connected team that can really just do all aspects of the game, like, in coordination. You know what I'm saying? They can all just play basketball.
Yeah, they're such a fun team. They're actually so fun to watch. Did you guys see Jalen Suggs lob it up to Cole Anthony and do the LeBron and D Wade like this thing? Did you see that? That was so cool.
They do.
And they deserve it. They're literally the 3 seed. They deserve it. And the rebuild didn't take long. From Vucevic to this team, like,
the Bulls got fleeced.
that's pretty good. Can we talk about how masterful Sam Presti did in his rebuild of the Oklahoma City Thunder? Like, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's an MVP. We don't have to talk about Josh Giddey, but Chet Holmgren looks like he's going to be Rookie of the Year. Jalen Williams looks like a franchise small forward. Casey Wallace looks like an all-defensive guy. You got to credit Mark Dagnall. He's done such a good job of coaching these guys, bringing them together. Like, as a young coach, he's actually done a really good job. But, man, Shai, man. I feel like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, if the NBA season ended today, my MVP would be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. 30 points per game on the number 2 seed. You can't get much better than that. But I'm so excited to watch this team in the future. No matter how the Josh Giddey stuff, we're not going to talk about that. Not our realm. He's not having a good season. He's not having a good season, but the potential is there. The potential.
It's been there for a while too. We're just waiting for him to really realize what he can do and what kind of team he's on, and then really it's only up from there.
Yeah. And so I honestly think that the Thunder can be championship contenders this year. Is that a bold statement to say? The Thunder can.
I don't think it is.
Their whole team is good.
They're too inexperienced.
When you say champion contender?
A contender. It doesn't mean they're gonna win.
We're not even halfway through the.
No,
at least in the West.
It's too early.
Can we talk about the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and how they've completely turned it around from last season? Rudy Gobert is the defensive player of the year.
It's because
Karl Anthony Towns
Rudy Gobert is
a
playing
great player, returning from his injury. And Anthony Edwards is a superstar. They're actually.
And don't forget Nas Reed, Mr. Jellyfam himself.
Mr. Jelly, Nas Reed, the legend.
Just him alone, they could win the championship right there.
Yes, sir. You put prime Nas Reed on those 90s Bulls, they still 3-peat. They 4-peat. Nas Reed, baby. Ride or die.
Nas Reed is good enough. Nas Reed is good enough to beat the 90s Bulls.
Like, he's locked out. And then we got to talk about Anthony Edwards, man.
Anthony Edwards is a generational talent.
He is Michael Jordan. He is Michael Jordan.
He is amazing.
Anthony Edwards is...
I feel like that...
I'm just going to say it right here. Anthony Edwards is the next... Remember when we made that FIBA World Cup video? And I said that Anthony Edwards would be the next face of the NBA?
And he will.
And he will. And so far, I'm going to be right.
This is coming out.
Where Anthony Edwards is a dog, man.
I feel like...
I don't know why. I feel like I see
that
Jimmy Butler and somehow. Just like the way they both play.
They're both the sons of Michael Jordan.
No, I was going to say like, Jimmy Butler is the son of Michael Jordan, and Anthony Edwards is like the brother of Jimmy Butler.
Brother-in-law is crazy.
It is not Jordan and Pippen, bro.
Yeah. And also, can we talk about the revival of Rudy Gobert's career? Like,
I know.
He is. I think that's a player of the year.
Ball went crazy against the Memphis Grizzlies. Like 16 points and 20 rebounds.
Yeah. I never thought I would say this. But that Rudy Gobert unlocks Karl Anthony Towns' game more. I never thought I would say that because everybody is clogging the paint to get a rebound and board, and Cat just goes out. And it's like, they can't leave him
the
open
Timberwolves are what,
Edwards or Mike Conley's gonna find him in the paint, and Karl Anthony Towns on the wing. You just gotta give up that. It's been great.
The Timberwolves are what DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis should have been.
They're not going to be the 1 seed the entire year, but I think they can finish with a top 4 seed, and
they could be.
They can make some noise in the playoffs.
Definitely, for sure.
So yeah, let's leave it off there. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.